Well, June is Cancer Survivor Awareness Month, and we have an inspiring story for you with Dr. Bawa, who is a breast cancer survivor and beauty contest winner just weeks after having a mastectomy. I hope I'm getting that right. So welcome, doctor. Thank you so much for being here with us today. So let's get into it because, you know, this month we are celebrating survivorship, and I actually just shared my story as well. So I feel with you as well because I'm also a breast cancer survivor as well. I was diagnosed back in 2020. So talk to us about your journey and what you hope that by sharing your story will do for the community.
Well, first, thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity to discuss breast cancer, and you as well. Yeah. We are both young women diagnosed with this, and people have a misconception that breast cancer is something older women have.
Exactly.
You know, usually they think postmenopausal, but young women can have it too, and that was part of my struggle. When I discovered my lump, my doctor blew me off for quite a while, and then I had to fight to get a mammogram. They kept telling me I was too young for one, and guidelines at that point were definitely not what they are now. So anyway, 3.5 years later, I insisted upon getting a biopsy, and by that point I had 2 lumps, not one, and it was at this point a very aggressive cancer, quite avoidable.
Absolutely. So that goes to the point of being your own advocate and really knowing your body and early detection, if you can even get to that point, right?
Yes.
So being your own advocate is extremely important with knowing your body and taking care of your health. So what is your message for other women? Because you're right, you know, and when I talk to doctors and other oncologists, they do mention that diagnoses are happening to younger women more and more than just your standards. So what is your suggestion of what women should do, or anyone that's diagnosed with cancer? Really?
You have to be your own biggest champion. If you think something's wrong, it probably is. And if your doctor is not giving you the respect of even a mammogram, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. In my case, my mammogram was read as benign for almost 3 years. And then finally, the biopsy proved them wrong. So it was very unfortunate, and I think that women need to understand that the doctor doesn't always know what's right. I mean, I'm a doctor myself, but I can say that given my experience.
So what would you suggest and what is your message also? Because I think that what's life after cancer like, right? Because it could be a very scary time in your life when you're going through it,
yes.
Right? And you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes while you're going through it. So what was your journey like, and how is your life now after being able to say, you know, I was able to go through it, and you know, I've championed it. I thrived through it.
I refuse to take cancer lying down, first and foremost. I refuse to stop living. I refuse to stop working. I kept going to work every single day except for chemo days, and I refused to let people tell me that I had to go bald. I do hair restoration at my practice, and I managed to keep my hair, and I went to Miss Florida to prove to cancer patients that they are no less beautiful and should be no less public just because they have a diagnosis as serious as this. And by winning, my oncologist said I changed the concept of beauty after breast cancer, and for that I'm very glad.
That's amazing. And what were some of the words of motivation or mantras that kept you going? Because I know for me it was about writing those motivational words or mantras that worked for me. I know for me it was I could do hard things, and obviously having the support of like your friends and family community. So what was that for you that helped you thrive throughout, that, you know, kept you moving forward every day?
Being a mother of young boys, I think staying alive for them was my biggest motivator. And I knew for a fact that if I did something like winning Miss Florida, which I ended up doing, I was going to change how people viewed breast cancer patients or people facing adversity of any kind. It doesn't have to be cancer, and it certainly doesn't have to be breast cancer. So hopefully I've, you know, been a voice against cancer misdiagnosis.
Absolutely, Dr. Bawa. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your testimony, because as we know, right, our mess definitely can become the message for others. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story of survivorship.